Hi there, my name is Rosanna Bedo. Right for shirts and you're on to Read Time We Try. Welcome to this week's broadcast. Okay, so I hope you've been following me. If you haven't, please watch the podcast or the videos on the page. I have been discussing about, it was a question, who I think is wife material, who a wife material is. And I explained in the first episode, that who the wife material is biblically, and the next I went to talk about some variations. Second and third episode I talked about some variations of a wife, that society has maybe come to accept now. And then in the course of, I'm concluding, and in the course of this conclusion I came across an article, some few articles anyway, that talked about, they listed who you think a wife material is, and some said ones that cook for you. The wife not cook now will get angry, but that's what some said. Some said one that cooks for you, some say ones that are affectionate, another one say ones that can make you laugh, one who says has intellectual curiosity. People just had different lists. This was taken across 11,000 men. So the people had so many lists. And this got me thinking, because that means every man has what they think is wife material to them. So you cannot use what one article says, what another article says, to brand who a wife material is. And that's why, like in the beginning, I just told us so that we could have a heads up on who a wife ought to be biblically. They didn't use the word wife material, but of course we know that that is a word that has seemingly come to stay in our modern day language now. Yeah, so, but for me, personally, based on experience, I said that the next month we'll be talking to the men, but now talking to a lady, your primary job is to support your man. So I won't come here to say who is a wife material or these are the things to know a wife material. No. But for a lady who is either married, because when you stop everything, people are subject to change, or change is constant. When you are not open to changing, you're not open to reading books, you're not open to learning, then I think that's when you start dying. So whether you're married or not, it doesn't matter. But basically, this will be more helpful to people who are not yet married. Ladies now, you shouldn't set out to fail, because I know certain ladies just are afraid of getting married, or have already told themselves, hey, it doesn't work, I divorce, and all that. As in, you've not told yourself that you will go into the marriage institution and yours will be different, and you would last, and it will be successful. Most women don't have that in their mind. Now that is the starting point of being a wife. It's where you say, I'm walking into this thing and I'm going to give it my best. Like I always say, if you've never listened to me or you're just coming across me, please, I'm not endorsing domestic violence. I'm not endorsing people staying in the marriage when their life is, they are afraid of their life, or their life is in danger. If you've listened to my past broadcasts, I've always said, if your life is in danger, please take a walk. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about people who, it's not a matter of domestic violence, not a matter of their life being in danger. They just don't want to give their all. They don't see marriage as something that should be worked at, as something that, you put effort into. Yeah, so I'm here to tell you that as a lady, primarily, if you intend to get married, and like I said in the first episode, it's not compulsory to be married, but if you intend to get married, you must be a support system for your husband. If you intend to get married, you must be the peace he comes home to from his daily, struggle, or daily looking for his daily bread. You must be the peace your children too can run to, because in as much as I always say that the men should take part in the upbringing of the children, basically, especially in their formative years, they are more inclined, more drawn to their mothers. It's nature. You can't cheat that or try to change it. This is not a matter of feminism now. It's a function of you're the primary care provider. The man can't breastfeed. There are certain things that the man can't do in the early stages. Yes, he ought to be there. He ought to contribute his quota, but the children basically are more drawn, to you as the mother. So you should create a safe haven for them. And as a woman also, you should be able to be there in the absence of your husband. Is your husband doing a business? Does he have something he runs? Does he have a vision? Does he have what he does? If for any reason, God forbid, he dies, would you be able to step up to the plate, or that vision dies, that business dies, or somebody else has to come help you? I'm not saying you must physically, because there are some businesses that you can't really be the one maybe to do the manual job, but you should be able to coordinate. Are you assertive enough that people will be able to follow your directives, follow your direction, and get things done? Will you own it? Will you be able to step up to the shoes of your husband? That is something you should think about, because it's not just to, like I said in my past episodes, to be slaying up and down. It's not just to be concerned about makeup and how you look. There are more to life than that. Nobody prays to be a widow on time, but it happens to people. And I've seen a lot of widows suffer because intellectually they're not really sound, and most of them were not concerned with what the man was doing, or maybe the man didn't allow them. Like I said, I'll talk to the men later, but I'm talking about you. Do you have a willingness to know what the man is doing? And even, I'm not saying you're idle now, and please, as a lady, you must have something you're doing. Either you have a career you're doing, you have a job you're doing, you have a business you're doing. You must bring something to the table. You must be doing something. And so I'm not just talking about what you do. I'm saying know about what your husband does, and know enough that if something happens and he goes out of the picture, you can step into that shoes comfortably without stress. And you should also be the one that if he kills somebody, that's what my husband always joke about. If there's a very terrible thing you do, the first person you ought to be able to run to should be your wife or your spouse, like vice versa. So I am not happy. This is a request question where the person was trying to tell me that I should tell the person who a wife material is. There's really no manual. The truth is, there are just basic things that a woman should possess, or that should be happening in a home that a wife is present. And that's a good environment, peaceful environment, an environment where you can bring ideas. Your support is not only in taking. You can bring ideas on how to make the person good. Like I said, I know a lot of women will be itching on their seat. So what will be the man doing? Relax. In the next month and in the next couple of broadcasts, I will talk to the men what they ought to be doing. But you as a lady, you ought to have certain basic characteristics, and you must be loving, you must be forgiving. Especially forgiving, you must learn how to forgive. You must be mature. You can't get into marriage without being mature. So if I would say one key aspect of this wife material thing is maturity, because you're not only married to the man, you have his family to deal with, you have your own family to deal with as a married woman, you have your immediate family, because you're going to bring children into this world. So you must have some degree of maturity, and you must show strength. That's why the Lord, depended on us and said, you will be Ezekiel, you will be one who would have strength, you will be one who will be like a savior to this person, and you must be that companion. Most people, the companionship is lacking, that friendship is lacking. It's more like a father-daughter relationship. That's not right. He's also supposed to be your friend. You should joke, you should laugh, he should be your companion. Yeah, so I'm not telling you exactly, because to every man there's what he's looking for in a woman. But I think what I just mentioned are basic characteristics you should have, you should harness, you should work on, before you go into marriage. Marriage is so broad, so many aspects. You can't finish it in one broadcast. So broad, there are different aspects, and as we go on, as I talk about relationships and sometimes marriage, we'll be touching on the different aspects. But I just try to answer the question to this young man. It depends on what you want, but hope you know that, in order for you to be looking for a wife material, you should be husband material. So join me next week when we talk about husband material too. Bye, and my social media handles are on your screen right now. See you. Thanks for joining me.